We're going to focus on the two major coaching moves from over the weekend, starting in Austin, where Texas announced Charlie Strong was fired Saturday morning, and by afternoon had announced Tom Herman would replace him. That was just 3 years on the job, all losing seasons. Our resident Longhorn is still not too thrilled with the move.
Well, I'm dealing with it. As I said Saturday when all this news broke, it was kind of bittersweet. You look at Coach Strong and his team this season, they were in every game, aside from maybe two, this last one versus TCU and Oklahoma State right after a bye week, and that was kind of perplexing to figuring they were coming off a bye week. But you don't get credit for good fight. You get credit for wins, and unfortunately for Coach Strong, he had that big number on the right instead of on the left side. But you mentioned 3 years. Essentially, he had 2 years. He stripped that program down to its bare bones that first season. He jettisoned some players. He didn't have a quarterback to speak of the first 2 seasons. So he essentially had 2 years to turn this thing around. They recruited well, had 2 top 10 recruiting classes that came through. So now it's on to Tom Herman and his new staff, and let's see what they can do with the pieces Charlie's left behind.
It's interesting. Charlie Strong is a good coach. He won at Louisville. Yep. He proved that he could win there. He didn't at Texas, a place that had a lot more facilities, a lot more recruits, a lot more money. There are too many cooks in the kitchen. We heard Tom Herman say, hey, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. That, to me, is a message to the boosters. Get the cooks out the kitchen. He has got to find a way to be true to who he is. If he kowtows and starts kissing rings to the people that wrote them checks, he's going to go down just like Mac Brown did, just like Charlie Strong did, and just like every other coach that go there will, until he finds a way to stay true to who he is and just coach football.
Obviously, some players, like many, more of a silent majority or minority, wanted Charlie Strong, didn't think it was right that he only got those 3 years, but it's hard to disagree that Tom Herman is the perfect fit.
Tom Herman's been the darling since he took over at Houston. He was fabulous in year 1, beating Florida State in a bowl game. Starting year 2 with a win over Oklahoma, you cannot knock that there were a lot of Longhorn fans that wanted Tom Herman to be the head coach of their program. But this was a strange situation from the outset. I mean, where else do you have a funeral in the morning and a wedding in the afternoon? It's the same day. And to say that conversations weren't going on before this is ridiculous. It makes everybody look silly. Well, that's behind us. Now it's time for Tom Herman to go on building a program. And hopefully he can find the same kind of quarterback that he found at Houston when he found Greg Ward, because that's what Charlie didn't have.
Right.
He had Tyrone Swoops, he tried Gerard Hurd, and then he found a freshman, Shane Buechele, with a little mix of Swoops in their running formation, but they could never get consistent. And then obviously the youth on defense played into it. What Tom Herman's got to figure out is how to get the piece at quarterback so everything else can fall in line. And if he does, Texas will be back to being a dominant program.
A major chunk of his career as a coach was in the state of Texas. I mean, he played at Cal Lutheran in California, but he came immediately to Texas as an assistant. He knows 2 things. You got to win Texas. When was the last time Texas won the state of Texas in recruiting? They're getting their butts kicked in the DFW area, the Dallas area, and all the big recruits. Doesn't seem like anybody really goes to Texas anymore. They're probably the 5th best program in that state, just raw recruits-wise. And they got to get tough. Texas has always been so tough, but under Mac Brown, when he kind of put it on cruise control, they got entitled, and I think they got soft. They won't be soft under Herman, and that'll be something that was started by Charlie Strong.
Well, Malik Jefferson was the #1 overall recruit, #1 recruit in Texas. They got him to come to Texas.
Right.
So Charlie Strong had 2 top 10 classes the last 2 years.